Hey everybody, welcome into another episode of the Matt Report brought to you by Cobus Insurance Center. We are here. We are ready for the postseason. We're just days away from the sectional tournaments. Actually, we've already started the postseason. As everybody knows, we did do the girls' state tournament this weekend. Pretty exciting matchups down there. We had a couple local girls in action. Kind of success stories for both in different ways. Before we go on, though, we might as well start right with our top three performances of the week. And this is segments brought to you by Century 21 Deanna Realty, because two of the three top performances are those two girls that were down there wrestling at the state tournament. That was really the only action going on other than one other duel, and that's where we'll get our third top performer from. But let's start with top performer number one, and that's going to be Elyria sophomore Riley Banyas. Riley went down for the second straight year and finishes the 101-pound state runner-up. And for the second straight year, she just dominated her way into that state final. Riley opened with a 37-second pin over Washington Courthouse's Jenna Kuhn in the first round. And then in the quarterfinal, an 8-0 major decision over Addison Rudolph of Central Crossing. And followed that up with a 14-1 major decision over Callie Lang of Big Walnut, who's ranked number 4 in the state. And again, waiting for her in the final was Haley Snyder of Warren. That's who she met last year in the final. Last year, Haley beat her 8-1, kind of a one-sided matchup. This year, not so much. Banyas was battling for her, fought off her shots. Haley Snyder ends up picking up a escape point to start the second period. And then Banyas is in on a shot on her. Snyder fights it off for a good 20-30 seconds and finally slips behind for a takedown. And that's the final score. Haley wins 3-0. Riley kept it close, just couldn't get out from underneath in that third period. Obviously, again, not where she wanted to be, but she's getting closer, and she is looking to win that state title next year during her junior season. So really good performance by Riley Banyas. Second up is Emily Rassic of Keystone, a freshman. Only been wrestling for 3 months, but yet advanced through the district tournament, got down to state, and got her hand raised on a state tournament mat. So for a wrestler that's only been doing the sport for 3 months, just a really good, amazing story, a good feel-good story. Emily opened with a loss to Marysville, Alana Champion. Actually battled her pretty well for most of the match, but then ended up getting pinned in the third period. Then she ended up pinning Lutheran West Amy Zell in just 49 seconds, a really dominating performance there to get her hand raised, like I said. And then end up losing in the second consolation round to Carmen Pape of Delaware Hayes, who's ranked number 6 in the state. But just a really good performance by Keystone's Emily Jurasic. And our final top performer is Van Anthony Trenzo of Amherst. Van Anthony won at 106 pounds this weekend against Lorraine. Amherst and Lorraine was kind of the only boys action going while the girls state tournament was going this weekend. He pinned at 106. Really good dual meet win for the Comets over Lorraine. And he and Van Anthony improved to 5-2 overall this season. He's kind of been splitting time there at that 106-pound weight class. So again, our top three performances: Riley Banyas of Elyria, Emily Jurasic of Keystone, and Van Anthony Trenzo of Amherst. And that's brought to you by Century 21 Deanna Realty. Okay, so as I talked about last week, we're here at the postseason. Sectional tournaments are this weekend. The bulk of them are going to be Saturday one-day tournaments. The one exception locally will be Vermilion. They are part of the Northwest District Sectional at Sandusky, which is still a 2-day tournament. Some familiarity and some not familiarity. We've kind of talked about changes because of the coronavirus pandemic, things that have had to been done. One of the changes this year in the Northeast District was that Northeast teams got to actually kind of draft themselves into sectionals, which is definitely a different spin on how they've done it in the past. Basically, the way I've been explained it was teams submitted criteria about themselves, returning district placers, state placers maybe from 2 years ago, or state qualifiers, records from this season, all those kind of things, and they were awarded points for their different criteria, and then they were seeded throughout the district, division by division. And then the top seeds got to pick which sectional they went, and then so on and so on. So actually, some of our teams, especially in Division 2 and actually in Division 3 as well, got to actually move into different sectionals that they weren't. Lorain County teams aren't all at the same sectional in those bottom two divisions, so it's definitely going to be a different feel. The other thing that's been different, it's going to be different this year, is they're doing split sessions to kind of limit the exposure among fans and wrestlers. So they're on Saturday on most of the Northeast sectionals. They're going to run a morning session, which is going to be the first 7 weight classes, 106 pounds to 145 pounds. Clear the gym. They're going to wrestle that all the way to completion to the finals. Then they're going to clear the gym, and then they're going to have an afternoon session where they're going to wrestle 152 pounds to heavyweight, 285 pounds, and they're going to wrestle that to completion. So that will allow for wrestlers and the fans not to come in contact with each other. And it should also allow for wrestlers maybe to have additional fans. It depends obviously on the sectionals. Some sectionals are still going no fans. Some sectionals are going maybe 1 per wrestler. Some are going 2. That's going to depend on the size of obviously the host school. Also that county that host school lies in, what their COVID protocols are. But that's going to be definitely a different look as well. But going through some of the local sectional matchups or the setups this week, not much change in Division One. All our Lorain County Division One programs are going to Midview High School for the sectional. That's going to be the participants there are going to be Amherst, Avon Lake, Elyria. Fremont Ross is coming over from the Northwest. Lorain, Midview, North Ridgeville, and Toledo St. John's also coming over from the Northwest. They'll all be competing at Midview. They are going to do those split sessions like I mentioned. The bottom 7 weights are going to start at 9:15 in the morning. Top 7 weights are going to start at 4 p.m. Now, Division 2 is where we start splitting up. Lorain County teams are going to be in 3 actually, different sectionals. I did already mention that Vermilion is going to be at Sandusky. That's that Northwest sectional. Headed to the Norwalk District, which is a Northwest District tournament. So they're going to be going, and this one's going to be a 2-day tournament, and it's kind of odd. They're going backwards. Friday, they're going to have the 5 p.m. Session, and that's going to be 152 pounds to heavyweight, 285. So they're starting with the bigger weights first. And then Saturday at 10 a.m., they're going to have the second session, and that's going to be the 106 to 145. So a little bit different look there as far as the Northwest goes. And then the other 4 schools, Lorain County-wise, are going to be in 2 Northeast sectionals that are both going to filter into the Perry District. So they will not be, all of the Lorain County teams won't be at the same district this year, probably for the first year that I can actually remember in a long time. We're going to start with the Lake Catholic sectional. That's going to be Brookside and Firelands are going to be at the Lake Catholic. And some of the other schools are going to be there: Ashtabula, Edgewood, Chardon, Cleveland Central Catholic, Holy Name, Lake Catholic, Parma Padua, Shaw, Streetsboro, and West Geauga are all going to be out there at Lake Catholic with our 2 locals there. Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m. is going to be the first 7, and then 4 p.m. is going to be the second 7. So, again, they're going to all filter into Perry together with the other 2. The other sectional that's going to filter over with our other 2 schools, which are Clearview and Keystone, is the Paynesville-Harvey sectional. That actually used to be the Bay High sectional where all the local teams used to go, and now Paynesville-Harvey is going to actually host that this year. And the schools that are going to be there besides our locals: Akron Buchtel, Geneva, Notre Dame Cathedral Latin, Paynesville-Harvey, the host school, Perry, Ravenna, Toledo Woodridge, and University School are going to be the schools with Keystone and Clearview at Paynesville-Harvey. So definitely, and the start times on that, 9:30 a.m. for the first 7 and 4 p.m. for the second 7. All right, and then Division 3, almost a normal setup, as in all the schools are going to Independence for sectional and Garfield Heights for district, except for Oberlin, who, in talking to Gary Huff, their coach, didn't really have a choice. They were seated kind of low, and the independent spots got eaten up, and they kind of had to go to Berkshire High School in Burton, Ohio, for their sectional. So almost twice as far of a travel for Oberlin to go out there and compete at Burton, Berkshire, although they will then filter back to Garfield Heights for the district tournament. So all the D3 schools come back together. But the Independence sectional, same as it ever was. Ashtabula, St. John, Black River, Brooklyn. No, it's not the same as it ever was because schools did take over some of those spots in Independence that weren't there previously. So it does look a little different. Ashtabula, St. John, Black River, Brooklyn, Columbia, Cuyahoga Heights, Fairview, Garfield Heights Trinity, Independence, Lutheran West, Mogador, Ravenna Southeast, and Wellington are all going to be at Independence. And then Burton, Berkshire, where Oberlin will be. Definitely some schools they probably haven't seen a lot of this year. Akron, Manchester, Andover, Pymatuning Valley, Brookfield, Burton, Berkshire, the host school, Conneaut, Gates Mills, Hawken, Jefferson area, Kirtland, Massillon, Tuslaw, Middlefield, Cardinal, Orwell, Grand Valley, Villa Angela, St. Joseph, and Youngstown, Liberty. So definitely some schools that I haven't actually even seen a lot of. So Overland will be out there getting to see some new wrestlers, some new schools, and trying to advance to meet back with the Lorraine schools at Garfield Heights. So obviously split sessions, drafting, all a little bit different. And as everybody knows, the other big difference for this postseason is going to be the state tournament. Not going to be at Value City Arena or the Schottenstein Center as it's known down in Columbus this year. They're splitting the state tournament into 3 sites for each division. Division 1 will be at Hilliard Darby, sorry. Division 2 will be at Marengo Highland in Sparta. And Division 3 will be at Marion Harding. I guess we'll worry about that when we get to it. We'll talk more about that in a couple weeks when we're previewing the state tournament. We're ready for the postseason, ready to go. The wrestlers are ready, the coaches are ready. Everybody's been waiting for at least 2 weeks and some more. So we're going to get to it. So that'll be it for this week's episode of the Matt Report, brought to you by Cobus Insurance Center. Thanks again to Kristen behind the camera, for WOL for setting up the show, and for you, the wrestling fans, for tuning in. We'll see you next week.